kind of a quiet week.
Yeah. Okay, we're live and recording now.
Yeah. And we're live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the ROONS MIZZ Arsenal chat. I'm ROONS.
I'm Miz.
We come to you because you need us. You need someone to explain what the hell is going on at Arsenal Football Club. We'll happily do it for you. So, Miz, if you'd like to go first, please tell us what's going on right now.
We won a game. We scored a goal.
Did you ever imagine those things being something to be happy about?
No, I mean it really is like it's kind of unbelievable to think about like where we're at right now as a club, just in the general tenureship of where we've been supported and over this period, and you got like, you know, watching the Premier League just in general, like the league has been fantastic so far this year. I'd like to watch. Besides us, like I'm enjoying the football. I mean, Ronaldo scored 2 goals on his debut for Man United, like he never missed a beat in the whole thing, and here we are rebuilding for the 13th season in a row or something, like where we're not in Europe. We didn't play in Europe this time for the first time in 23 years this week. And it's just weird to me. We're in a weird place.
No,
I think
I mean, for a while now, I've been thinking that it'd be better to not be in Europe and then have a real rebuild, because like, what's the point of going to the first knockout stage in Champions League and getting destroyed by a team, you know, first team we come up against with any real chance of winning it, and it looks like we're not even in the same level, you know? So that
could even just be like Olympiacos or something, like where we normally get, like, it's just like,
but watching yesterday or the past 2 days, the Champions League, it really kind of dawned on me, like, wow, the world has passed us by.
A lot.
You know, like there's so much going on and crazy things happening and goals everywhere and excitement, and we are not even in the picture. And that was harder to take than I thought, because I thought, like, let's just get out of the Champions League, stop playing extra, you know, stop having the second competition where we have 2 different teams playing, and always, you know, the cup team for a while has been better than the Premier League team, and just that dichotomy didn't seem to be working. You know, we drag on to the end of the Europa League and then lose, and it seemed like a drain. But then seeing the alternative is not good either, because we're not even in the competition. You know, we're not even in the conversation. And you have Ronaldo scoring in the league, scoring in Champions League. That's something. I mean, Man United fans are like, even if they don't win any trophies, they're like, already, this has been an awesome season. It's been a world-class.
Totally. And you know, they lost to Young Boys the other day, but that's like first group game of the Champions League. You know, they're going to get through the group. You know that they're like, just seeing Ronaldo in that first game the other day, they're contenders. Like, they are serious title contenders at this point. You have one of the world's best players now re-signing for your club. That's going to give everybody a boost there. We have nothing like that, like, at all.
And there's talks that Pogba wants to stay now because Ronaldo's here. It's like,
wouldn't you?
We've been saying,
yeah.
You know, when that was a huge complaint against Wenger, was like, you keep letting these people go like it's no big fucking deal, you know. Mm-hmm. But it is a big fucking deal, because other players feed off of other players. Look at RVP. He was like, when I got to United and I saw Scholes and Giggs and Rooney, I was like, wow, I was like a kid in a candy store, because it was like, you know, I get to play with all these cool dudes again. And you saw Alexis being like, God dang it, man, let me play with some ballers here. Like,
of course,
they underestimated the fact that other players make a huge difference to the existing players.
I completely agree. You can't have a team of like 1 or 2 superstars. Like, we have Aubameyang, and Aubameyang is like, he looked decent, actually, like in the last game. Didn't play. You know, we'll get to that game. There's some bright spots, I think, a little bit from the Norwich win.
Yeah.
But you know, we just don't have the caliber where you're getting at. I think like we're far off the mark right now, and maybe this team can develop into something. Maybe they can get some results this year. It's gonna be hard though. It's gonna be like the 6 signings that we made this summer. They're all under 23. They're not ready for now. They're ready for a few years, as we've always keep getting told, and all while the while everyone else strengthened, and like Chelsea looks really good. I mean, Lukaku is an absolute menace there already, and City look really good. City, I mean,
They haven't dropped. Their level hasn't dropped.
No,
And Liverpool looks good.
Liverpool looks good too. I mean, those 4. That's the top 4 for me this year. I think that they're going to run away with it.
All legitimate contenders, because it's going to come down to what happens when they play each other. It feels like, because they all look like they could win the league.
Totally, it's really like that. And then you have us, where we're
just now starting the season. We act like the season just started at Norwich.
Yeah,
you know, that's how the team is. That's how Arteta and the board seem to be treating this. Is like, well, you know, it takes time, and it's like, well, the season starts when the season starts. You know, we waited 3 games. We gave up 9 goals. You know, 0 points, no goals scored, and now we're starting to pretend that the season started. Well, it's like, okay, you can do that for yourself.
And we barely beat Norwich. I mean, like, look, Norwich is not good right now. They lost Buendia. They like that team. They're probably going down this year, and we like barely skimmed by in that game. Like, granted, the vital signs looked a lot better. We had a lot more going on.
Yeah,
but
it was a much less frustrating game to watch, even if. But what I was seeing was like, we're not leagues ahead of Norwich, even with this squad that I like. I like the lineup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We also didn't have that grinding, annoying, slow, negative, sideways game that we have when we literally play 6 players that should have been gone years ago.
Yeah.
So
I know it's crazy.
This isn't our starting 11 moving forward, with maybe an adjustment of like ESR for Odegaard, or, you know, slight changes here and there. Martinelli for someone, or Lacazette for someone. You know, if we revert back to Jacques, if he goes back in there, say, you know, once the ban is gone, if he jumps right back into the starting lineup, just, you know, fuck it. Like,
I don't know how they're
then, you know, like that's what they deserve. You've already seen what's happened when we're not playing Champions League. That's what you deserve.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think, you know, we're just in who knows how it's going to shape up now. We got a tough game on Saturday. I think Burnley is not an easy match ever for us.
No easy matches for us. I think
Brentford. No. Those days are gone. Days are gone.
Yeah. Brentford stated the fact that there are no easy games in the league for Arsenal.
So we have 3 losses. Is that right?
3.
And that's crazy. They used to say, like, to win the league, it was like 2 to 4 losses in general, max. Yeah. And we already, look, we're not going to win the league.
We go on a 35 game win streak, then we'll win the league.
Yeah, but that's never going to happen. That, like, I would be
that's still
blown away.
Liverpool, Leicester, you know, like
Tottenham, West Ham.
I mean, there's a bunch of teams we haven't even played yet. Yeah, we had Chelsea and
City up. Yeah, and granted, and those two in our state are always going to smash us right now, because like it just is all over the place. So let's get to Norwich and how that looked. We had a goalkeeper change. That was like the big notable thing of Aaron Ramsdale in there.
Yeah,
I thought he looked all right.
You have that shimmy shake, that juke.
That was dope. I mean, it looked a little dicey at the moment. I've rewatched it a few times. He almost, You could tell he's all right with the ball, but like that was
Yeah, it's not what you want to keep doing, but he looks good. The thing is, it's
he's
weird.
energetic. He's energetic. He
Yeah,
looks like he really wants
that's
it.
the thing. That's the thing. Like Leno used to be energetic. Then he got injured. Then Emmy started playing great. And then as soon as we said, no, you're our number one, we're willing to sell this guy who won us the cup. You're our guy. We're giving you the biggest vote of confidence you could ever get that really no other player would get. And what does he do? It's like all of the energy goes out of it. Like all
Yeah,
that season is so like off the pace and gets the ball and just kind of nonchalant. It's like, dude, you realize that like there are keepers like Emmy Martinez who had to wait 10 years to get his shot.
yeah.
And then he proved himself, and we still gave you a shot. And then he just fucking lays an egg, dude.
It's a shame. He's a really good goalkeeper, and I think his attitude is maybe getting him a little bit. I think he wants to leave, and I can't blame him, I guess, in that regard. Like he's a very good goalkeeper, and maybe he's just fed up with the system and how it is.
Yeah.
And he keeps getting. Last year, he got scored on a lot, and it's not all of it's not his fault. The team defends shit. You're kind of vulnerable back there. Yeah. I guess in training the other day, before the Norwich game, he was told that he wasn't going to play, and Ramsdale was going to start. And I guess he like yelled at Arteta, and they got like a shouting match at the training facility. And I don't know. It seems like certain, this seems to be something that Arteta likes to do, I guess, with like, he's trying to show his balls or something. I don't know. Like he just like, he seems to not be a great manager of players' personalities and learning how to, dude, that's a good thing if a player gets pissed that they're not playing. That's a good sign. Like, and
but I mean, there's a way of going about it too.
Right. He probably told him the night before, like, hey, listen, you're not playing tomorrow, guy. And like, he just, I don't know.
Way of also coming to someone and giving them a bit of news where the only thing that can happen is something negative. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah, yep.
What's he supposed to say? Thank you, for the team. Yeah. I'm willing to sit the bench, even though you kept me when you could have let me go. And it's like, I feel like these players keep getting like told, we want you, you're our man. And then they're like, okay. And then they're like, I'm going to play Ramsdale in front of you. And he's like,
yeah,
well, fucking A, man, because I just scheduled my life for the next X number of years to be here doing this based on what you told me. And then now you're pulling the rug out from under me.
Kind of like Balogun. I don't like, I mean, I know that we're real early in the season. He's still very young, but like he signed a deal, and the part of the deal was that he's going to be in the fold and playing.
And the way
I don't know what he's going to play.
Won't even play. I mean, nowhere to be found because Arteta has just, there's no possibility of playing with two forwards,
I think that they're, just based on the Arteta press conference, like the other day, what was it? It was like Tuesday or something. I saw this and it was like, he said that the Norwich win in that week was the best week that he's had as an Arsenal manager so far. And I find that like a very weird statement. Better than the week that you won the FA Cup, better than like any of the progressive wins. Maybe they're starting to get it in training. Maybe the team is gelling and maybe we don't know that. Maybe that's something that we can't see. But like at the same time, like, I don't know, we have a long way to go for them to get like cohesiveness as a team and start playing well together. Like, that Tomiyasu guy looks all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought Ben White and Gabriel held it down really well in the middle. I think that back four. Okay, finally we got something.
It was nice to have Gabriel back.
Yeah. And you could tell that Ben White felt a little more comfortable with a big defender next to him that like does the dirty work.
Yeah.
Ben White can kind of clean up and do. Ben White is really good at playing the ball. Like he had a couple like really nice passes over the top.
Yeah.
That's I think why they signed him in general. So the signs are good, and Sambi Lakonga is just
He's clean. And then
yeah, is very
Partey came in and Partey was great.
yeah. And that if those two don't fucking start together on Saturday, like Xhaka is not in. He
If
is
they're
out
playing
because of the red.
if he keeps playing the 4-2-3-1 and it's not Sambi and Partey, sack him at halftime. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing too. And it's like, but we've been here before. How many times last season did we come across an 11 where we were like, that's the team, dude. The team you keep playing sucks, but that team worked. Like we just destroyed Sparta Prague or Slavia Prague. Like play that team in the league.
Yeah.
And then what happens? We go right back to the Xhaka based, shit signings, players from Wenger who are Wenger rejects. And we continue to do worse, And so right now, I'm not convinced that we're going to see a lineup that reflects the game against Norwich.
No, I just don't think I don't know what he sees in some things. Like, look, we got almost a fully fit team at the moment. Like, I mean, we're missing El Neni and Rob Holding. Awesome. Like, and Xhaka's red carded. Those are like the only notable absences.
Or one match?
3 match. It's straight red.
Okay.
This is two of 3 that he's serving on Saturday. And I think actually AFC Wimbledon counts as a third, which is fucking crap because that he's going to be in the fray on the weekend after for the London Derby. The North London Derby is the next weekend.
They're going to be like, watch.
He's got to start and be captain.
Yeah, watch Partey and Lakonga are balling, but there's going to be some talk. Well, this is a North London derby, so we got to go with our trusted guy. And if you recall last year when they beat us 2-0, Xhaka had a fucking masterclass, dude. Him and Bellerin had an absolute masterclass, and we're at fault for both of the goals. So,
I remember.
He tries to say something like he's our leader for the North London derby. Sack him immediately.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. I mean, the North London derby, that's going to be a tough game because Tottenham don't look bad right now either.
They got stomped by Vieira, curse of Vieira.
Yeah, but there's, I think in the league they'll be up there.
What they are, you know what I mean? Like you can't.
They're consistent. They're consistent.
They're consistent in the fact that they'll be good, and they'll consistently fuck up when it counts, so they'll never be great. It's like Roy Keane said, who was a Tottenham fan growing up, by the way, but he was like, they'll let you down every time. Well, it's kind of true, but at the same time, they have beaten Arsenal a lot in the past decade or so. They're consistently ahead of us in the table, so we can't underestimate them. You just want to have some confidence that we'll play our best team. And it's like, how can we even talk about rebuilding or improving if it's such a strain to get him to play the best team? Like we have 3 or 4 players on the bench who you're like, wow, it'd be nice to see him playing. And then you have 3 or 4 players on the field starting who you say, we should have, why are they still here? Like, why? And we've been saying this over and over again, like I went and watched I watched some AFTV year-end wrap-ups, 16, 17. It just popped up on my YouTube. So I was kind of like, this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, watching it, and it was really almost depressing because literally it's the same thing. It's Xhaka's not good enough. What is Rob Holding isn't good enough. El Neni isn't good enough. And it's like, that was 5 fucking years ago, dude, where you and I and everyone was seeing like, you know what? This Xhaka thing didn't work out. We bought Xhaka the same year that Liverpool bought Sadio Mane. And you see just the difference. Sadio Mane got a golden boot. They won the league and the Champions League, and he's an absolute menace who scores goals. Some people, he's not perfect, and some people have complaints about him. But you compare him to Xhaka, and there is no comparison. And he was bought at the same time. And look at the trajectories.
I think the Wenger era, the second part of the Wenger era, isn't going to reflect positively on him in long-term history-wise, like for the club. It already doesn't.
It's already tarnished his whole,
his
whole reputation.
He fucked us. He fucked us worse than Ferguson left United, to be honest. Like that looked to be worse at the time. When Ferguson left, people were like, he should have left years ago. He left the team in terrible state at the end, which he did. They weren't very good at after he left. They were, and he did pass the job to David Moyes, and I think that was like kind of like
he knew what was going to happen. Like he happened to pick the only other Scottish manager. It was kind of just a little like, here, buddy, here. Like I'm gonna shake your hand and I'm gonna fucking fuck you with the other hand.
Yeah, right. Like, and Wenger did it in such a sneakier way over the second part. Like ever since the Emirates deal and all of that stuff happened and how that shook up, and we've talked about this. Like he sold himself for what it was to get a lifelong position and money to buy into something that it was ultimately going to put us in this position. And we're still paying the price today. He bought players in the latter 10 years of his career that weren't very good most of the time. We signed maybe 10 players in those 10 to 12 years that were all right. And everybody else was pretty much garbage.
I'd love to see from 2010 to when he left his signings, and just see, like, it would tell the story right there. You know, But the thing is too is he spent a lot of money. We spent a lot of money. We bought Xhaka for 35 and Mustafi for 30, so 65. You know, those are prices that today we're not really like we couldn't get Buendia for 35. But 5 years ago we got Xhaka for 35. So he spent money, but he bought a lot of failed signings, and even the signings that you would say were good signings like Alexis and Ozil. How did it end? And was it a net positive or a net negative?
Well, and this goes to your first point about when we're talking about like Ronaldo and signing players that need support in those roles. It's not good enough just to sign Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil. You sign Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez into the team, and you have Mustafi as a center back with Rob Holding and Xhaka in the middle supporting him, and Bellerin on the right. The system is never going to be good enough. Like already 3 players out of the other 7 that could even be on the field are terrible. So like you just can't
pull them out.
Yeah, it's just a mute point because it doesn't even make sense. Like, why even waste the money? If you're going to do that, don't even spend the money.
Right. That's what's so frustrating, where it's like they don't spend the money when there's a clear-cut opportunity to do something, and then they will spend money, and it's like, well, you shouldn't have done it.
And now I think it's, I think Arteta has like a decent amount of time actually. Like I would be surprised if he's not sacked, if he's sacked before December, no matter how bad it gets a little bit, because it just seems that they are fine with the growth and the project. And I think Kroenke is like, well, we spent some money. Fuck it. We got this guy that's on the cheap. He's a yes man. He'll say whatever we want. He kind of is that way. Like, what? They're not gonna like they're not gonna tweak this.
No.
Like
I think he has a job for life, honestly.
Until he doesn't want it.
Playing the first 3 games after a terrible fucking season last year.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I think another thing about watching those season wrap-ups is I think the nature of it is to follow game by game and week by week. And you have a good week and everything is, you're looking towards things being good. You have a bad week and everything is bad, but you kind of just take it as a little piece by piece by piece. And looking over it in the broad scale of things, you really are like, wow. I mean, last season was a disaster. A disaster. 14
And-
losses.
Didn't qualify for Europe at all. Didn't.
I mean, and the football was abysmal.
Atrocious.
It wasn't even like, I mean, Leeds had maybe 15 losses, but they fucking beat Man City fair and square based on their tactics and their quality. They didn't beat them by getting a PK and then parking the bus. You know what I mean? So at least if you're a Leeds fan, you're like, fuck yeah. Like, yeah, we lost, but we lost 6-3. You know,
Well, even in the game the other day, like the Norwich game. I mean, like we scored, Aubameyang scored. It was barely in though. Like it was dicey. It was like not. It was scrappy. It was never
could have been
clear,
offsides. I think we lucked out. I feel like last season when they were all about taking away as many goals as possible, that goal doesn't stand. You know what I mean? Like
they are. Man, the Premier League and their referee stuff. I mean, the FA every year switching the rules like they do is kind of wild. Like, I mean, now they're just like letting them play a little bit more. Like fouls aren't the same. Like,
but then people are getting laid out and not calling it, and you're like,
yeah.
They're not saying go do a 180. We're saying like almost every single goal was called back last year. We got to the point where I was like, if this is like this again, I will not watch soccer.
Yeah, that's improved a little bit so far.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean,
like they were finding reasons to call goals back last year. Like, oh, if we got to go back like a couple minutes to find someone who was fouled someone that the ref didn't call, we'll do it. You know,
it's stupid. It's not the game. This game. I mean, the people that don't understand soccer when they're like, oh, the offside rule is like stupid. They just don't get the game. It's a very important rule, but at the same time, there is like a little leniency involved. Like there's a human error aspect to it that has always been there. That should be there. That gives a little bit of leeway to the attacker. And
tie has to go to the runner. It has to go to the forward. If all things are even, if it's on the line, you got to give it to them because you want, at the end of the day, do you want more goals or less goals?
Exactly. Yeah, no, totally. And yeah, it's just, I will, going back to United for a second, like United, they smashed Newcastle, like clean, like just, I mean, Newcastle's not great. They're not great. But we are going to struggle in that match against them. Like,
yeah,
and United cleanly just, it was like a training exercise at some point.
Yeah,
I mean,
Pogba's come into his own, you know, like, and they still have like Sancho's been quiet so far. Like they have room to grow still.
Lingard's back there balling. Van der Boek is like kind of getting some minutes now, and they're like they have a team that's like stacked. And the reason bringing them up is like they used to be our like direct main rival. That was like the team that we used to like. It was Arsenal and Man United as like the big dogs in the Premier League for the longest era, and like we are nowhere near close to them now. And we were on the same type of problem path that they were a few years ago, and they've really like steadied the ship. And
I mean, they've always spent, and they've always thought that they were still the Ferguson era team, and they spent like it, and they bought players to look like it, and then for a long time it just didn't work because you can't duplicate something like Wenger's first run or Ferguson's run. You know, it's really hard even if you have the best personnel, which they really did. I mean, they got Lukaku, it didn't work out. They got Jose Mourinho, it didn't work out. They got, if you look at the list of players that they've bought since Ferguson left and the list of players that we've bought, it's a bunch of no names for us, unproven, hard to pronounce, obscure players. And then you have players like Di Maria. I mean, Di Maria played for them. Falcao,
I mean,
Schweinsteiger,
what about this bit of business? I mean, the
Memphis
Ronaldo.
Depay.
Yeah,
Like they've had a bunch of players, they just didn't know how to use them, and it still didn't work. But eventually, now they have a group that's like still it looks scary.
and then you sign Ronaldo for like they paid like 20 million.
Yeah, I think it was like 12 million pounds.
That's insane. That's insane. I mean, granted, he is 36 years old. He is our age. He is our age. He's graduated the same year that we did. He's a month older than me. And that's crazy to think. Like this dude, like I have 2 games tonight. I'm gonna be tired tomorrow. I'm gonna be sore. Like I have a co-ed game and a men's game after. And but the caliber and the shape that this person is in is like unbelievable. I mean, I look, you know me, I hate Manchester United. I don't like them. I am rooting for them to win the league only on the mere fact that I kind of want Ronaldo to win the league.
Don't say that shit on this podcast, bro.
Well, dude, we're not going to win the league. So I out of pure sport reason, like out of the years, I used to hate Ronaldo, but as the years have gone on, I've started to like him a little bit more and respect like what he's doing. I just like I wish that we had an ounce of what they're doing or other teams are doing. Like we have nothing that is like we have a backroom staff full of coaches that are amateurs. They look like amateurs on the training ground. I watch training videos all the time. And on YouTube, you can Google like Arsenal training session today. And you can watch like behind the scenes, like almost every day you post it. And I mean, you got like assistant coaches on there that are like young, that are like they look like they're like 21 years old. And
Like,
you look at these other
PE teachers.
Yeah, and you just look at these other teams, it like obviously it's kind of a joke.
I know, and like looking at our bench when during games, and like that fucker who is always next to Arteta. I mean, they're talking constantly, you know. And the dude, I guess he coaches. He's like a Wales coach too. I saw him in the Euros, and I was like, wait, that's the fucker with the fucking stopwatch around his neck in games. It's like, what are you timing, dude? You know, get that shit off your fucking neck. What is that? He just looks like a fucking dork. And then you see him and Arteta, and they're like talking like,
and he's always has AirPods in. Like who the fuck is he talking to in the game? Like, what do you
like?
Dude, you're the assistant.
What is the result of all of this talking and equipment and timing and data and like this dude's a walking computer, and then you throw on fucking Xhaka, and then when he gets subbed, you throw on El Neni. Like, fuck this guy and fuck the rest of them, dude. They look like jokes. Like, I don't know. We just used to be able to be like, okay, Man U has Ronaldo. Well, fuck it. We have Henry, like,
yeah.
You guys have that guy. Well, we have this guy. He's way sicker, and you could argue and it'd be a matter of taste, like, oh, you like Federer, I like Djokovic, but there's no question that both of them are capable of being the best,
Yeah, but we don't have that
like
now.
You got Ronaldo, and we got Tomiyasu, who looked decent on his first game. Before that, I never knew who he was. We got Lukonga, who looks cool, and he's been playing okay. And then they got fucking Ronaldo. You know what I mean? Like, and that's on top of Sancho and Varane in the same window.
Yeah.
They got three marquee names, one ultra marquee and two marquee names. And we got Ramsdale. I didn't know who the fuck he was. Ben White, I didn't know who he was. I watched the league. I never heard, I love that everyone, he gets mentioned and all of a sudden everyone's like, you know what? He's really good. He's this and that. It's like, so why didn't I never hear his fucking name once last season?
I do think that there's a lot of Arsenal supporters out there that are like especially the ones that are online. If you go on Twitter and you're like, there's a lot of people out there that like kind of blindly support and they don't know very much. And it's, or maybe they think they know. I don't know. It's weird. It's
all I know is I went on the Reddit page for Arsenal a long time ago, and I was complaining about Francis Coquelin, if you remember.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Of course. Yeah.
Fucking the cock blocker himself,
Yeah.
who was this player who was like, who is this dude? Who's fucking Francis Coquelin?
So
He's in
small,
the
so
midfield
small in that role.
doing, and he ended up playing for fucking Villarreal last year. You know what I mean?
I know,
Like,
I know. But
Jesus.
that works for him though. That's like the kind of league that he needs to be in.
For
And
sure.
and Wenger even said it. Like I listened to that book of his, and he even said it. He misjudged how the Premier League was moving. He like thought that it was going to be more skillful and smaller players and tactically, and he
What
bought all
about
these like
that? What about Stoke and
right.
Burnley and
And
Southampton's squads made you think that it was going to be all about tiny little
who
technical?
know who knows, and how dumb of
Yeah,
a comment even to make in some regard. Your invincible team that won the league undefeated was massive.
massive. Dude, could you imagine the Invincibles when they won the league playing the team that we have right now, or
Oh my
playing
god.
like last
Oh
year's
god.
team, or any literally any team of the last decade? Not only would they get destroyed, there'd be injuries on the other team, there'd be broken legs, there'd be players who are asking to be subbed, there'd be players whose hearts would be broken, whose minds and psyches would be broken. Like that team was hard as nails and elegant and awesome. And these teams that we have called Arsenal teams lately, fucking pathetic, dude. Rob Holding, I wanted to like you, I want to give all these players the benefit of the doubt, but dude, when I see Rob Holding with his hands on his knees, and it's like fucking the 35th minute and we're down 1-0 or 2-0. Dude, the dude doesn't have it. You don't got it, dude.
No,
Sorry.
it's we I think yeah, we're way off the pace. I have to cut it short in a few minutes, unfortunately. But the I think what we have shaping up, hopefully we have some type of team that can even get in the top 10 right now. I'm not sure that we're even there. I think we're going to have a serious goal scoring problem this year based on what we're seeing.
Yeah. I mean, we're not, even against Norwich, we're not getting chances. We're not hitting the post. We're not getting shots. The goal that got scored wasn't even a shot.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like we still don't play fucking through balls. You know what I mean? Our crosses can't pick someone out to save their life. And this is Tierney. As much as I love Tierney, we don't pick someone out. Like, why is it not going to someone's foot? Why isn't someone running near the post and being like, pass it
when
to
did
me
we
with my foot and I slide it in?
it's just a dumb plan sometimes that we see. I hate, I love all types of football, but like that whole style of like running down the end and crossing it into the middle is like not really how the game is anymore. It's just that
That's very 1998.
yeah, we just don't do that anymore. Like it's all about like technicality, moving the ball around, creating space, and like
Getting
finding
behind
that precision pass.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we just like we're playing this like style that like doesn't work and it's old and it like
Well, it feels like, I mean, people say that it's a style, but it feels like if you just throw players out there without telling them anything, eventually they'll just try to beat someone down the line and cross it. That sounds like a very much like, well, what should we do? Try to send it down the line and cross it. That's something that, like, if you're on the field, you would think to do that because that just seems right. If you haven't been told anything, you know, like
yeah,
that seems like something that the players are kind of doing because they're kind of like, well, what other option do we have? You know, but
totally.
we don't get numbers around the ball. Our passing is terrible. I wouldn't call that a style. That's a byproduct of not having a style is somehow the one player who's fast and can cross keeps running down the line and crossing it, you know? That seems like you just threw the players out there and said, "Go and try hard,
Uh,
guys."
Tommy Asu almost scored on his debut. That was actually kind of sick.
Yeah, that would have been a dope goal. Just
That would have it was really super hard to take right there too. Just so like, I mean, I do think there's some shining bright spots a little bit. There are some good signs. I'm woefully cautious to even like be optimistic at the moment about it because like we always get let down by them. And especially last year we started out like, oh, like this could be a good team and Arteta could do this. And the year before they won the FA Cup and they were on a high. And I just I don't know. I've I know that Arteta's not going to get sacked for a while. And so like I'm not on his side. I kind of hope that they do okay though, but like I kind of just don't like him anymore in general. Like it kind of irks me to watch his interviews. He never really says anything of importance. Never really feel.
you don't believe him. It's like
I don't believe him. Yeah,
dressing room. You know, if we're the fans, he's lost the fans. Like
yeah,
losing the dressing room means you go in there and you say your thing, but they no longer believe you. So
yeah.
they go
Totally.
out there. You say, "Okay, guys, we're gonna go out here and do X, Y, Z," and they're like, "Okay," and they go out there and they get the ball and they try to dribble someone, and then they try to do whatever they can, and then the playbook goes out the window. Like it's the same thing with the fans. Whatever he's saying right now, I don't believe him anymore.
Totally. So what do you think is going to happen at Burnley on Saturday? It's at Turf Moor, right? I think it is.
I'm going to be optimistic and say 1-0 Arsenal. Just to prove that I'm not a hater.
Let's say
I
1-1.
want it to happen. I want them to win. I
Yeah.
like when I see that lineup, I want them to win. I want Lokonga to be a baller. I want Partey to be a baller. I want these players to be respected internationally.
I do like Sambi. Sambi is like
He's clean.
he's clean. Yeah, he looks good. I like his movement. I like how he scambles out of things and like he's like a skinnier Partey.
I want to see him and Partey, dude.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I think even Niles did all right in that role 2 weeks ago.
True.
So sorry, I have to cut it short today. But next week we'll be back Thursday because we'll have a Burnley match to recap, and Wimbledon is on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. Yeah, we should. Yeah, Wimbledon. Yeah.
I think Fed is going to be the guest referee.
Dude, we should sign Federer. So join us next week. Sorry that I have to run short today.
But we'll see. We'll have something to talk about. That's for sure.
Totally. All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you.